Whatcha! It's time for some cruise news. That's right, we're back to Central Florida. You can see the sun is coming in hot and heavy like usual. We are talking cruise news today, and there's a lot of it going on as people sit and make really noisy U-turns right next to me, bugs fly in my eyes. Yeah, we're definitely back in Florida. Let's take the cruise news inside. We got stuff to talk about. Hey, welcome to the Midships YouTube channel. I'm your Captain Corey, and thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. It's wonderful to have you here. And as you just heard, there's tons of cruise news to go over, and it's Monday, which means we have another Midships shirt giveaway to announce. That's right, make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to tell you how you can get entered to win later on in today's video. However, we need to start things off with a question of the day. And today's question, it's actually related to the news. So, question of the day, now that cruising has resumed, how do you feel about cruise ship buffets? Do you like it that they're now self-service? Go ahead, leave your answer down in the comments below. I know for me, I love a good buffet, but I don't really love that I have to share it with all the other people on the ship. Call me selfish, but I've seen some crazy, wild things go down at cruise ship buffets, especially at cruise ship buffets, and especially involving the young and the very old cruisers. Yeah, kids and grandma and grandpa. They seem to be the biggest offenders at cruise ship buffets. Sorry, grandma. And speaking of cruise ship buffets, Royal Caribbean is now officially getting rid of the serve you option at the buffets, which means no longer will the crew be putting the food on your plate for you. You are now allowed to pick the spoon up and scoop out as many mashed potatoes as you darn well please, right on your own plate. So how do you feel about this change moving forward? Let me know in the comments below. I do think it's a good sign, and it signals we've moved into yet another phase in the resumption of cruising. And speaking about this next phase in cruising, the Cayman Islands are now officially done with their phase 1 of the reintroduction of cruise ships to the islands, which means starting today, phase 2 begins. And that means now as many cruise ships as would like to come to Grand Cayman, yeah, they're now able to. And that's really good news because over the next few months, they're expecting upwards of 60 ships between now and June. That's not very long to have 60 ships. So it's really good news for those of you scheduled to go to the Cayman Islands. Now, let's turn our attention way down south in the state of Florida to Key West. As many of you know, Key West recently, about a year and a half ago, voted to basically put a major stop or a pause to large cruise ships coming into port there. Currently, there's 2 ports available for cruise ships in Key West. One is public, and it accommodates 2 ships, and one is private and can only take 1 ship at a time. Well, about 60 to 80% of the residents in Key West voted to exclude cruise passengers on large ships from being allowed to come to their personal paradise. Now, the state of Florida said, oh heck no, we're open for business for cruising, and Key West, you're not allowed to do this, and ban ships from docking down there. It's public use. Well, now there's a heckler group called Safer Cleaner Ships. It's run by a local fella that lives down in Key West, and this guy, his name's Arlo. Basically, he doesn't seem to want to have anything to do with tourists or cruisers coming in. He doesn't want to share Key West with anyone, and essentially anyone in this Safer Cleaner Ships heckling group doesn't want to share Key West with you either if you're a cruiser, especially on a large ship. They claim they're okay with smaller ships, but it really seems like they don't want people to come and visit at all. That's my opinion, not fact, okay? They claim it's all about the environment, but let's be real. It really seems like they just don't want to share their paradise with the rest of the world. Now me, I learned to share way back in like preschool. I mean, we're talking baby Corey learned to share, so why can't these grown adults learn to share as well? Now, the drama with this story, it's not done in Key West, because even though the state of Florida says legally you have to allow cruise ships to come to Key West, the locality there, they found themselves a loophole that can supersede what a state-level judge has told them they need to do, which that's kind of shady if you ask me, just going around behind the back of a judge. So the answer that they think they found in the loophole is that they're just gonna plain old close the public port completely, so no cruise ships can go to the public port at all, which means now Pier B, which is the private port, that can only accommodate one ship at a time is the only option for cruising into Key West right now. So I just have to say, as a Floridian here in the state, I'm extremely embarrassed of what my fellow Floridians way down in the Florida Keys are doing and how they're handling their business there. That's not how folks up here in Orlando act. We love to have people come visit. We love people to come and stay and play, enjoy everything we have to offer here in Central Florida. We know that Florida has things that you can't find anywhere else. Amusement parks, beaches, natural beauty, all kinds of things you can't find in other states that you can find here in Florida. And why would you want to exclude people from coming to visit that? Let alone exclude the people that make a career off of cruising. Because by closing down cruising to Key West, you're basically saying, we don't want all these folks that work on cruise ships here. We don't want people of diverse backgrounds, of different races, economic levels, colors, creeds, religions, whatever you have it. Key West says we don't want these people to come to Key West. And we don't want our local businesses to make any money off of them. So what the heck's going on? Because obviously, in a place like Key West, the local businesses revolve around tourism. This makes absolutely no sense, safer, cleaner ships, and shame on those of you in Key West who voted to exclude people from all over the world of different races, religions, and origins from coming to Key West. And shame on those folks involved with Safer, Cleaner Ships, that heckling group led by a man named Arlo Haskell, who, according to Channel News Asia, finds cruise ships to be a nuisance. There's so many causes to uphold, and this guy picks gutting the tourism industry in his hometown. Wow, that's embarrassing. Well, hey, I teased earlier that we have a giveaway today, and that's exactly right. So just like last week, if you want to get entered to win my giveaway, you do have to follow some rules. You have to be 18 or older, live in the US, and you need to be a subscriber to this channel. That's right, if I find out you're not getting the shirt. The giveaway runs through Friday, April 22nd at noon Eastern, and the winner will be notified on this very video via a reply to their message. Oh, also, YouTube's not sponsoring this. I'm the sole sponsor of this week's giveaway, like always. So, the winner of this week's contest will get their choice of either a tank top or a t-shirt from the Midships merch store. Any design that you'd like. If you'd like to check out all my designs, there's a link in the description below. Now, to get entered to win, all you have to do is comment on this video with what type of stateroom you like to cruise in. You like balconies, interiors, suites? Let me know in the comments below, and good luck to all of you who get entered. Okay, we gotta talk about our next story. Do y'all remember that ship that got stuck in the mud? Norwegian Escape, way back on March 14th, she ran aground in Puerto Plata, and it took like 12 hours to get the ship off the seafloor. It just like sat there. The tides went out, the weight pressed down heavier and heavier. And on that day, I said, we don't know what kind of damage might have happened to the ship and how long it could be out of service. But I went on to say, if I had a cruise in the coming weeks on Norwegian Escape, I think that it might be likely that you could be facing cancellation. And now, look at us 30 days later, and finally, just now, the Norwegian Escape has re-entered service after almost a full month due to the damage from this grounding incident. So to the person who commented nearly a month ago, saying I have no idea what I'm talking about and I'm spreading fake news, look who was wrong and look who was right. Dang, I'm sassy today. I gotta dial this back. You know what would put me in a really good mood? If you checked out my Amazon influencers page. It's the perfect place to see everything I take with me on every single cruise, like my passport holder, my luggage tag protectors, and my favorite magnetic hooks that stick right on those metal walls in your cruise cabin. And everything you buy there, or even if you don't buy anything and just look around, it does help support this channel. It keeps me cruising and delivering the cruise news. Now, our next story, it's a little bit salacious. It involves 66 kilos of cocaine. And me being from the US, I don't use the metric system, so I really don't know how big a kilo is. Mind you, I wouldn't want to be found with 66 of them in my possession on my next cruise, that's for sure. Now, this whole story went down aboard the MSC Seaside, a cruise ship that was leaving from Brazil and heading to Europe. Well, allegedly 3 gangs have apparently been involved in drug smuggling on board the ship, and multiple arrests totaling about a dozen people have occurred across 2 different ports. So there's a whole lot going on with this story. It's sort of been brewing over the last 48 to 72 hours in the news cycle. I've been trying to put a pin in it and be patient because when you have things like this involving arrests and allegations, you'd never want to smear someone who's falsely arrested and accused of something they didn't do. That much is for sure. So we're not going to get involved with any names here, even though I found a few in my search. However, apparently some of the people that were arrested on this ship were a young couple in their mid-20s, and they're apparently currently talking and maybe even cooperating with local authorities. And what this couple had to say is that they're not the only people they know of on the MSCC side who are currently smuggling drugs, which means this story could continue on even further than the dozen or so arrests we've already seen. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you don't miss out on any updates coming from the Seaside drug bust. Okay, switching gears. So have you noticed all of the crazy severe weather that's been going through like the Heartland, the East Coast, and down south lately? I've just been inundated with storms pretty much everywhere I go, and it's got me thinking, we've got to be getting pretty close to hurricane season, right? I'm pretty sure it starts the first week of June. However, with that said, they're predicting this year to be a fairly strong season with upwards of 20 named storms. And as you know, they definitely can wreak havoc on cruising and their itineraries. And the other thing that you need to know is that in the last 7 years, every single year we've had a hurricane happen before the start of the official hurricane season in June, some as early as April, which means we could be looking at a hurricane any time now, coming out to cause trouble for the cruise industry. So just a quick reminder, it's something we need to keep on our radar. Get it? Radar? Because it's a storm? It's just like a little weather-related dad joke, okay? It's Monday. Give me a break. Hey, if you made it this far into today's episode, you are one of my biggest supporters, and thank you so very much. I appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing week ahead of you. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today, and until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. La 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 la